Hey YouTube, what's going on? Chris here. Want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin. Right now we're at 7,316, and what we're going to be doing today is looking at Bitcoin on the 1 week chart. So each candle is going to represent 1 week. And what I was doing yesterday, guys, I was doing some reading, doing some studying, and the book that I'm going to speak to you out of here is all about candlestick charting, and it's by Wayne A. Corbett. And there was something really important that I wanted to read to you before we get into any of this charting here. A lot of people, I've seen comments where they're saying, you know, you're talking about past stuff, or you're looking at this, or you're looking at that. Guys, what you have to understand about technical analysis, it's not about having a wizard's hat. It's not about having a crystal ball. It's about, as the market changes, having a plan for the upside as well as the downside. And what I wanted to read to you here, this was really important, and I thought it'd be great for some people who may not understand technical analysis the best and what this actually is. It says, it is important at this juncture to reestablish what technical analysis is not. Technical analysis is not some form of divine prophecy or a crystal ball. I cringe when I see some of the things posted on the internet by technicians. Plotting a price chart with a stochastic oscillator at the bottom does not allow someone to make informed market calls. Prediction should be viewed with a skeptical eye. No one has the ability to tell you exactly where price will be tomorrow, 1 week from now, 1 month from now, or 1 year from now. Technical analysis is a discipline that requires constant attention because market dynamics are always changing, regularly morphing into new scenarios. A good technician understands this and is willing to look at the new ideas or techniques and decide whether those techniques fit his or her trading style. Technical analysis is about putting the probabilities and tilting the odds in your favor by using reasonable market analysis. Nothing is 100% guaranteed, and so it is important to always have an exit plan in case your analysis is incorrect. And guys, that's what I'm trying to explain to people here. What I want to do is teach you how to trade. I'm going to show you upside. I'm going to show you downside. I'm going to show you where the targets will be. I'm going to show you candlestick patterns. But ultimately, you have to make up your own decisions. I'm not your financial advice. I don't know if you're trading in the short term. Are you scalping? Are you a short-term trader? Are you a swing-term trader? Are you, a long-term trader? That's the thing that you have to determine for yourself. And what I want to do here is just point out key things to you, like right now, how we are sitting directly on this 50-week moving average. And if we end up losing this 50-week moving average, in my opinion, we'll definitely go down to around, guys, we'll call it, $5,400 down to that 0.786. That's for sure, because this area that we're at right now is a really big area, guys, and we're going to get into all this. If you get anything from these videos, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate all the people who are with me here, and have been supportive of me and really enjoy what we do here, guys. And to the trolls, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep learning the best that I can, and once you guys start reading yourselves, then you can give me some, input and some comments and everything. But you got to first do your reading before you can start commenting on technical analysis, because technical analysis, like we just talked about, is putting the odds and the probabilities on your side. It's not about knowing exactly what's going to happen. I can't tell you when the next market mover is going to put their money into the either upside or the downside, guys. It's completely up to them. That's why they're called market makers or market movers. So what we're looking at here is a potential for a bullish Harami pattern. And guys, what you're going to see here is a long female body, or a long down day here, okay? And whenever you look at the Harami pattern, what they describe it in my Japanese candlestick charting book, it's basically this long red candle is basically the mother's body, and then this white candle is the child within this body here. So they basically call the Harami pattern like a pregnant woman, and that's what you have to think about. Now, this is a weaker bullish reversal pattern. You always want to wait for confirmation on this. So what ended up happening is we had this bullish Harami pattern, and we ended up closing up above this 50-week moving average in pink here. And this is important, like I talked to you all about here. We first started getting up above it April 29th, 2019. We have not been below it since. So in my opinion, this is a really big deal for us to see what happens this week following. Are we going to close up above it, or are we going to close down below it? And also what's correlating with this is our 0.618. If you take our Fibonacci from our swing low to our swing high of where we basically went from around $3,000 all the way up to $14,000, what you'll notice is that we've retraced to that 0.618, which is that golden area there, that golden pocket that you always want to look at here for a bounce. And right now we're sitting directly on it with a short day candle, if you can see this here. So take a look at that. We got a little wick there. So that's why I'm saying if we do break out of this, guys, to the downside, it could be really a very strong break, because we'd be losing the 50-week moving average. We would be breaking out of that Harami pattern to the downside, so we didn't have continuation, and we would also be losing the 0.618. So that could definitely send us with one of these candles like you see here, guys, or this candle here that you see. Things could really get ugly to the downside. So I wanted to point out the downside target around that 5,400 if we do start having strong breaks down through that 0.618. Now, if we're going to continue this move up and we see follow through this week from this Harami pattern, which I said you always want to wait for confirmation, the area that I would be looking at here, guys, is up around about $8,000. I would call it $8,000, and that's going to be the top of this downtrend channel. And you can see how we've been bouncing back and forth. We have about 4 or 5 touches on the top here. We have 4 or 5 touches on the bottom. So both of them are valid trend lines, and we're working in this channel just bouncing back and forth. So could we have a reaction back up to this area, guys, around, you know, even 8,400, that 0.5 Fibonacci? Absolutely. But what that would be is a lower high if we can't break out through this upper trend line. That's the most important thing that I'm looking for, is a break, a candle close up above this top trend line on significant volume. That's going to prove a lot to me, guys. But right now, we're not in that position. We just have to wait to see if we're going to get this follow through and if we're going to hold this 50-day moving average. Remember, in this market, it's always if, guys, until you see things confirmed. That's the main thing that I want to point out to you. Now, in terms of indicators, I want to go through a few with you here. First, we're going to look at the relative strength on the 1 week. We're at 42 right now. And what I would also do with this, for my relative strength, guys, I'd pull this up and I'm going to draw a trend line on this. So we'd go right here from up here and we'd pull down through. So another sign for us that we may get an upside break would be if we start breaking out through this RSI trend line. Just treat that RSI like a line graph is the best thing that I can tell you, guys. But right now, still lower highs and lower lows have been rolling in, and we're at 42 on our RSI. So on the 1 week, we definitely could go lower. We've been as low before as around 26, guys, when we really got low down here before we hit that bullish engulfing candle around $3,000. So that's the RSI right there. Just really watch for that break. The next one I wanted to look at here was our MACD. MACD, we did have our downside cross here. Now we're just a little bit more neutral. You can see the white starting to tick back in on the histogram here. So for me, we have not had a bullish cross to the upside there, just being more patient with the MACD. Then I'm going to look at our awesome oscillator here, and we're starting to drop down to the negative. So I want you to pay attention to that and be aware of that. I like to use the awesome oscillator. It's very good as a histogram here for us. And you can see basically this whole move here was captured, guys, as this awesome oscillator started to move up. You can see here, and then we continued on, and then once we hit this area up here where we had this gravestone doji and we had a bearish engulfing candle, that's when we started to tick to the downside. So always pay attention to that as well. I think the awesome oscillator is a good one to use. And then the last one I'm going to use is the Bollinger Bands here. And at the Bollinger Bands now, we are more so at the bottom part of the band here, guys. The middle band's going to be up around that 91, 89. So that's what I was saying. We may have some type of little reaction out of here that could really drive us up to that $8,400 as the week progresses. But we're going to have to take this day by day, guys. That's the number one thing I can tell you. Take it day by day. Look at the market structure. You know, you can even drop down into the 1 week, or I'm sorry, the 1 day. If you drop down into the 1 day and just start looking at candle formations here. And in terms of the 1 day like we're on here, guys, what we need to see is a higher low off this 0.618 so we can have another push up to try to tackle that 50-day moving average at 8,347. That's something that I'm paying a lot of attention to. I'm looking at, and I just want to see if we can get this nice bounce off here with a higher low, come up, set a higher high, then another higher low, maybe back around 7,782, then another higher high. But ultimately, guys, we have to break out of this downtrend. We have been in this downtrend now since January 27th, or I'm sorry, June 27th, 2019. So we're looking at all July, August, September, October, November. We're 5 months now. We're basically at the area now where we're transitioning from an intermediate term downtrend into a longer term downtrend, guys. And if we continue to have that longer term downtrend, that's where things can get really ugly, just like you saw over here. You know, we peaked out December 17th, 2017. And then we were in a downtrend basically all the way till December 15th, 2018. So this was a full year in a bear market, just making lower highs and basically lower lows here. And now we're seeing this happen again. This has been about half the time, guys, from this little reaction move that we had to the upside. So that's what I like to do. I like to step back. I like to try to identify trends. We want to identify trends from the long term to the intermediate term and the short term, and vice versa, from the short to the intermediate and the long. And guys, also pay attention. I'm going to get this Fibonacci off here. Take a look at this 50-day moving average. This entire bull market up here, We held it until we lost it at about $14,500, and ever since then, every time basically we were below it, guys. We had a few times when we had a reaction, we popped out of it, but for the most part, we were always below it, getting pushed to the downside here, guys, until we got back up above it, and then we lost it again, and now it's pressing down on us again, acting as overhead resistance. So these are the things that I wanted to bring to you guys. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you when to get in, when to get out. Right now, I'm still sitting in cash. I'm waiting. I'm being patient for the right opportunity for a good long. I don't want to chase this market. We're below the 50-day moving average. We're below the 200-day moving average. You know, we got a lot of things that are pressing down upon us right now, and I don't want to jump in and potentially have another lower low. So that's just where I'm at right now. I'm patiently watching this, and we just have to wait and see what happens. So if you guys get some from this, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Appreciate you all being here with me today, guys. God bless.